Hey guys, this is PKS. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's topic of discussion is how to design a cab booking service like Uber or Ola. So let's get started with requirement first. Any cab booking service, we must have two types of user. First, customers and second, drivers. For customers, we should have the functionality like customers should be able to see all the available cabs for the destination they have given along with the ETA and pricing details. Second is customers should be able to book a ride for a book a cab to a destination. The third is customer should be able to see the driver's location. If we talk about drivers, we must have driver should be able to accept or deny the customer's requested ride. Second is once a driver accept the ride, they should see the pickup location of the customer. And the third is driver should be able to mark the trip as complete on reaching the destination. Couple of things which I did not include in this system design, that is basically multiple car types, review and rating for drivers, schedule a ride in advance. So once we have a core component in place, we can implement these features later on. Now let's move to non-functional requirements. The first is high availability so that every service is available 24 by 7. The next is scalability, right? So million of concurrent users can perform multiple actions, right? The third is low latency for real time operations. The fourth is fault tolerance and reliability. So definitely system should not afford any single point of failure. We must have very low latency system with complete backup. Let's move to the capacity estimation. So in terms of traffic, let us assume we have 100 million daily active users with 1 million drivers, and on an average our platform enables 10 million rides daily. If on average each user perform 10 actions such as request a check available rides, fare, book rides, etc, right, we will have to handle 1 billion requests per day. For example, 100 million users, right, and if they perform 10 actions is directly equal to 1 billion requests per day, right? So that is around 12,000 requests per second. If we talk about the storage, if we assume each message or each action on an average take 400 bytes, we will require about 400 GB database storage every day. That means 1 billion equals to 400 byte, that is around 400 GB data per day. Let's look at the bandwidth. As our system is handling 400 GB of ingress every day, we will require a minimum bandwidth of around 5 MB per second. Guys, let's do a high level design of our system. We will be using microservice architecture since it will make easier to horizontal scale and tickable of our service. Guys, this system have lot of microservice, but I have included only core services. I did not include like customer, payment, analytics. So these service we can discuss later on. Let's focus on the design first as per our functional requirements. So riders or customers have apps or PWA, and drivers have only apps. Since we have two type of customers, for the real-time communication or real-time operation, we should have in the system a WebSocket connection can be initialized, and I put an API gateway that can perform load balancing, authentication, routing, rate limiting, and logging for overall system. So this is our first service, that is our ride service, which basically handle the fare estimation, like fare and estimation, right? So this service specifically talk to a third party, for an example Google Maps API, which basically get the information from the Google Maps or satellite whatever, right, and provide data to this service. And this service is talking to primary database, we can say MySQL or any relational database, and it store ride information like this. Second, we have ride matching service, that is the heart of this
this particular application, which we can say a matching engine. If any customer requests a ride for a specific destination, it basically matches the driver in your locality or for particular destination, and for that purpose basically we have to use geohashing. I will discuss this service in detail in deep dive. Right now let's focus on the overall system. Right, the third is location service. And ride matching service and location matching service both talks to the location DB. In this particular DB we can store the location of drivers, for example the status and the latitude, longitude, and all the other information of the drivers. Right, so from this particular database for this service, get fetching the get location driver, and simply this service provide the location update, so that can be easily customer can track the location of a driver. Another important is a notification service, so that all the push notification is the system should send push notification to the app or both kind of customers, like either riders or drivers. So guys, this is a simple and straightforward microservice architecture system. Right, nothing fancy here. Right, discuss about the database details. So we should have core entities like customers, drivers, cabs, payments, trips, and review and ratings. So guys, we have to use different type of database to support such kind of a system. For an example, we can use MySQL for store structured data like user profile, trip history, and payments, because trip history and payments has transactions, so that is definitely we have to use relational database like MySQL or Postgres. To handle semi-structured or unstructured data like ride status or location update, etc., we can use NoSQL database, and I will use Cassandra here. And definitely we have to use distributed caching, like I will use Redis to frequently access data like geo hashes or active drivers, so we can use Redis for that purpose. A very high level, or you can say simply core entities columns I have presented here. So for example, in customers we should have like ID, name, email, right, and cabs ID, driver ID, type, registration number. In case of drivers, ID, name, cab ID, email, DOB, location, created. Similarly, in payments we should have ID, trip ID, method, amount, created at. And in terms of trips or rides, we must have ID, customer ID, driver ID, payment ID, status, source, destination, and created ad. Similarly, ratings I did not include, but yes, this is we can just mentioning our ratings ID, customer ID, driving ID, trip ID, rating, feedback. This is simple and straightforward columns to support the functional requirements we have taken. Right, nothing fancy here. Now let's talk about the API details. The first API is definitely request a ride. Through this API, customer will be able to request a ride. It definitely a post call, right? Simply it requires at least ID, source, destination, would cab type, payment method, and definitely this API basically return the ride ID. Similarly, there is another API. The customer should be able to cancel a ride. Again, it required basically the ride, and definitely it should be a put call, correct, right, and provide a boolean status. For the drivers, definitely have to accept or request a particular ride, so we should have an API. So once a customer raise a request or raise a request for the ride, so we must have put call that another yani ki driver can accept that yani ki put call. So we again have a driver ID, ride ID. For the accept and denied, we have two options or two APIs, so and it can return the basically boolean. Similarly, for start or end the trip, that is our third functionality. So using this API, the driver will be able to start or end the trip. In this particular case, again we need a driver ID and a trip ID, and right. So for the location update, that is basically we have to use push model. I will discuss it in the deep dive section. And we should have a API like post location update, and it can use a lat long and basically continuously provide the updation of the recent location or most correct location of the driver. right? And similarly, rate the trip. We should have this API will enable customers to rate the trip. It required basically customer ID, trip ID, rating, feedback, and boolean. This should be postcode. So these are the core APIs. There are other APIs too, but I discussed only the requirement which we have taken as a function requirements, right? Guys, now let's do deep dive. So first is basically location tracking. So how do we efficiently send and receive live location data from the client, like customers and drivers, to our backend? We have two different options. The first is pull model and second is push model. In pull model, the client can periodically send an HTTP request to servers to report its current location and receive ETA and pricing information. This can be achieved via something like long pulling. The second is push model. The client opens a long-lived connection with the server, and once new data is available, it will be pushed to our client. We can use WebSocket for this, right? The pull model approach is not scalable as it will create unnecessary request overhead and our servers, and most of the time the response will be empty, thus wasting our resources. So to minimize latency, using the push model with WebSocket is a better choice. Then we can push data to clients once it is available without any delay, given the connection is open with the client. And that WebSocket I have mentioned in the design as well. That's why I use the WebSocket here. Alright. Now also WebSockets provide full duplex communication, unlike servers and event which are only unidirectional. The second important component is the ride matching or matching engine, right? So we need to efficiently store and query nearby drivers. Let's explore different solutions we can incorporate into our design. So we have three options. First is SQL query, and second is geohashing, and third is queries, right? So basically we already have access to latitude and longitude of our customers and drivers within the databases, right? So since we have option like if we can use MySQL or even Postgres, we can perform query to find nearby driver location for latitude, longitude within a particular radius. But this is not a scalable solution, and performing this query on a large data set will be a quite slow. Also, since we have 100 million users, right? So on the scale, this query will take a lot of time and definitely maybe choke the database, right? So this is not a scalable solution in any point of view. Next option, we can use geohashing. So what exactly the geohashing is? So geohashing is a geocoding method used to encode geographic coordinates such as latitude and longitude into short alphanumeric strings. So geohash is a hierarchical index that uses base 32 alphabet encoding. The first character in a geohash identify the initial location as one of the 32 cells. This cell will also contain 32 cells. This means that to represent a point, the world is recursively divided into smaller and smaller cells with each additional bit until the desired precision is attained. The precision factor also determines the size of the cell. For example, San Francisco with coordinates can be represented in geohash as. Now, the customer's geohash, we can determine the nearest available driver by simply comparing it with the driver's geohash. For better performance, we will index and store the geohash of the driver in the memory for faster retrieval. So that means we can store geohash of a driver in Redis, and we can simply do a frequent query on that, and it will be faster, right? The next option is quad tree. So quad tree is a tree data structure in which each internal node has exactly 4 children, right? They are often used to partition a two-dimensional space by recursively subdividing it into 4 quadrants or regions. Each child node stores spatial information. Quad trees are two-dimensional analog of octets which are used to partition 3-dimensional space. Queries enable us to search points within a two-dimensional range efficiently, where those points are defined as a latitude and longitude. We can save further computation by only subdividing a node after a certain threshold. Query seems perfect for our use case. We can update the query every time we receive a new location update from the driver. To reduce the load on the query service, we can use Redis to cache the latest updates from the driver location updates, right? And within the application of mapping algorithms, such as we can use like Hilbert curve, like we can perform efficient range queries to find nearby drivers for the customers, right? So once we have a list of nearby drivers from the query servers, we can perform some sort of ranking based on parameters like average ratings, relevance, past customer feedback, etc. This will allow us to broadcast notification to the best available drivers first. Now the third is basically notification service. Push notification will be an integral part of our platform, right? We can use message queue or message broker such as Apache Kafka here, which will handle the delivery of the push notification to the devices. To discuss about the trade-offs, so what if one of the service crashes? How will we distribute our traffic between our components? How we can reduce the load on our database? How to improve the availability of our cache? How can we make our notification system more robust? So these can be trade-offs that definitely needs to discuss. So to make our system more resilient, what we can do, definitely we have to use ECS or EKS cluster. We have to use multiple servers with auto scaling, or we can say ECS, or we have to use Kubernetes, right? Definitely to distribute our traffic better, we have to use load balancer, which we can include it in API gateway, or we can segregate two layers, like first is load balancer and second is API gateway. So introducing load balancer between client server database and cache servers, right? The third is how to improve availability of cache. That definitely we have to use Redis cluster and use multiple instances and replicas of our distributed cache, right? And how we can reduce the load on our database. So first of all, we have to use Redis as a fallback layer, and so that we can avoid every request go to the database. Second, using multiple read replicas for our database, right? So if we are using SQL or NoSQL, we have to use cluster and replication of the database, and try to put all the queries to if we are doing fetching, then we have to use replica servers or replica database, right? And the last is basically for notification. Exactly, once delivery and message ordering is challenging in a distributed system, we can use a dedicated message broker such as Apache Kafka that easily can handle millions requests per second. So guys, that's all for this particular video. If we have gone through, almost we have completed all the requirements, right? So hope you guys enjoyed this small session. If you enjoyed this, please take a comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you.